Hi, and welcome to another video by Get It Done Home Repairs. Today we're just going to talk about how to splice a wire if you're changing a light fixture on the ceiling, how to connect a wire to the existing wires that are in the box itself. Now obviously this piece here is not in the box. I have this to show you exactly how to do it step by step. That's what it looks like when it's sticking out of the box. The wires are coming down like this. But what I'm going to show you how to do, is I'm going to show you how to splice the wires onto this, onto these wires here correctly. All right, so now with the wire in the ceiling, in the box itself, there are different kind of wires. These are a solid wire. These are a solid core. They're much thicker than the wires that you're going to splice onto. But the wires you'll be splicing onto it, as you can see, these wires are very small strands, such as this. So you'll need to splice these wires onto these wires, but I'll show you how to do that in just a second. This is some of the stuff you're going to need. There's different size caps that you'll need to actually screw onto the wire to secure these wires to these wires. Depending on how thick the wiring is that's going underneath here, sometimes you'll just have a wire like this and you'll have one connection going onto it. Other times you'll have possibly two wires that are going to be connecting onto it. And if that's the case, then instead of using a very small cap like this, you'll just use something a little bit bigger, such as this or this. So there's multiple sizes that you'll need to use. So you'll need to determine which one you're going to use by the amount of wires you're splicing onto it. So I'm going to show you two different ways to do it. I'm going to show you how to splice it on using one wire, and then I'm going to show you how to splice it together using two different sets of wires like this. All right, so the first thing you're going to need is you're going to need a test light or some way to check to make sure that that power is off in the box that you're going to connect your new light fixture in. Now obviously if you're taking a light fixture down and you're going to start to work on it, you'll turn the light on, then you'll go to your circuit breaker box and you'll turn your circuit breaker off, and when the light turns off that you're working with, you know that there'll be no power in here. So if you could do it that way, that's fine. If not, you use something like this. There's lots of different test lights out there that you can use. This is just one example. You'll actually just take this, touch it to the black wire and the white wire, and when you touch these two to the black and the white, like this, if this light lights up, then you know you have power into it. But like I said, if you're removing a fixture, you don't have to worry about this. You just turn the circuit breaker off, and when the light turns off, then you know the power is off. So this we're going to put on the side because we're not going to do anything with that right now. Now, when you're looking in the box and you see these wires sticking down like this one with no insulation on it is your ground wire. This ground wire will connect onto the bracket that you're going to mount up into the ceiling. So we're just going to move that out of the way. That's a very easy one. You don't have to worry about that. That just wraps around that screw that's up in the bracket. And these are the two that we're going to be concerned about right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to take a set of stripping pliers, such as this. They have different size openings in here that you can see how to strip the wire out. Now, I'm going to just go to show you from start to finish how this is, just so you have an idea. We're going to assume that you have a wire that looks just like this right now. Most of the time it comes like this, but if it doesn't, then what we're going to do is we're going to strip down the wire so we can put it on to the existing one. You're going to find which opening fits your wire. You can see it slides through, so we know that's not the right one. We're going to move it down one more, and you can see it still slides through. A little tighter, but it's not cutting. So we're going to go over one more, like this, and we're going to take it and we're going to squeeze it, and we're going to rotate it around the wire, like that, and then we just pull this off and put it on the side. We're going to do the exact same thing with the white wire. Put it on just like this. You want to leave about an inch, 3/4 of an inch to an inch of wire. I just want to tell you this. Well, you can see this here, this wire. You see that all the wire is still on here. If you separate this piece from this wire and you have copper wires sticking through there, then you took off some of the wires that are in here, and you'll need to use the next biggest size on here so that when you take this off, you have no wires in this insulation whatsoever. All right, next thing we're going to do now is we're going to take the wires, hold it with one hand here, grab it with the other hand, and just rotate it around just like that so that the wires in here become one solid strand, just like that. And we'll do the same thing on this one here. You hold it in your one hand and you rotate it around. And now you can see that the strands that were all small little strands are now one main wire. Now this you'll have to imagine it's up in the ceiling and in the light fixture box itself. What we're going to do is you're going to take your black wire and you put it around the other black wire and you hold it with your fingers like this and you rotate the wire around the other wire just like this. So that's what your wire looks like. Then you take your wire nut like this, you put it over the top, and you rotate it, and you turn it and keep on turning it till it gets as tight as it possibly can get. And that is how your wire nut is put on. Before you finish the job, you want to give it a little tug to make sure that the wires are actually caught in there correctly. All right, now I'm going to show you one more time here. Take your white wire, put it around your white wire like this. We're going to take the wire and we're going to rotate it around the solid core wire. And you want to rotate it all the way around just like this so that the two ends are right up on the very top together here. If you rotate it and this wire is all the way down like this and you have this portion extended, that's no good. You have to have this part up on top and you rotate it like that around it. And you'll take a different size wire nut, you put it over the top, and you can rotate it around, and you're tightening it clockwise, like that. And then you give it a tug to make sure that your wire is connected properly. And that is how you do it. And then obviously the ground, we're going to reconnect that onto the screw that's on the bracket that's up inside the box in the house itself. This piece here will need to have a little loop in the end of it just like this so that we can attach this to the ground screw through here. But that's how you would join wires together from an existing set of wires coming through the box up in the fixture itself. All right, and that's pretty much how you do it. Now, I'm going to show you how to do it if you had two sets of these thinner wires inside there, because sometimes you will have more than just one wire in each one. All right, so now to take these off, you just turn it counterclockwise, and they come right off. And then this wire will come off, and this wire will come off here. So now what we're going to do, we are going to cut these off, and we're going to start over again.
What tool are you using?
This is actually a wire stripper. There's multiple kinds that you can purchase out there. This is just one example. There's lots of different ones that are out there. You have a lot of different sizes through here. You can see all the different sizes that are actually right in through here. It tells you the size of the wire itself. Okay. All right. This is the one I just choose to use because it actually cuts a lot better. Okay, so now if you have the wires, you're going to take, again, you're going to use the wire that actually, the stripper that actually fits it the best. You see there, it slides right over it, but it doesn't cut. So we're going to use this one. You're going to rotate it around to cut through the wire, and then you pull the wire off just like that. Same thing here. Now this wire will be the wire that's in the fixture that you're purchasing to put up. And like I said, sometimes the wires will be stripped out like this when you buy it from the store. If that's the case, you just pull off the insulation like this. And again, you'll grab the wires and you'll rotate them around. I do everything clockwise if I put it on, and counterclockwise if you take it off, just so you know. We'll do the exact same thing here. and here. Okay, so now after you have both of the wires twisted together, what I always do is then you'll take your two black wires and you'll take them like this. You hold it with your fingers like this. You grab the other two fingers and you rotate them clockwise again until the two strands become one. And we'll do the same thing with the white ones. Hold it with your fingers like that. Just tilt it a little bit each way, and then you're going to rotate one around the other. Just like that, as tight as you can, so that the wires become one, and that's what they look like. All right? Next thing we're going to do is we're going to take the wires that are actually hanging down from the box that's mounted in the ceiling. We're going to take them, and we're going to take the white wires, and we put it around the white wires, and then we'll just take it. You wrap the white wire around the white wire. Again, you hold it with your fingers here, and you rotate the white wires around the white wire like that. Okay? You'll take your wire nut, put it over the top, and you'll just rotate it again clockwise until it's as tight as you can make it by hand. Okay, we'll give it a little bit of a tug on the wires to make sure that they're connected properly, and you can see they're nice and tight. I want to point this out to you as well. If you look underneath the bottom of the wire nut here, you can see how the wire nut covers the entire bare exposed piece of copper, and the only thing showing down this area right here is the insulation. That's very important that you have no wire, none of this stripped off wire sticking out down over here, because if you have wire sticking out down the bottom, that's no good, because if it touches anything you could have a problem. So make sure that your insulation is just like this, all the way up the wire itself. Let me show you what to do just in case it is too long. If this piece, I'm going to strip this down a little bit to make it a little bit too long. Okay, now if you take your black wires and you're going to rotate them around here, you'll take them and you put them on here. Again, you'll hold it with your fingers and you rotate it around. Now if you look closely, you see how much of the wire is sticking up here? That's no good. So you could take your cutting pliers and you can just snip away any of the excess, just like that, and then rotate your wires around just like that. And then you're going to take your wire nut. Again, you're going to determine which one is the proper size for you. Put it over the top, and you turn it again clockwise, holding the wires with your one hand and rotating the wire nut with the second hand. Okay? Again, give it a little bit of a tug to make sure it's caught in there nice and tight. And you can see that nothing down here, you can see down here that none of the copper portion is actually extending through. So that is how you join two wires together up inside the light fixture itself. Now obviously you're going to have the same color wire nuts. These were just because I was demonstrating to you the different size nuts that we have, but you'll have the same personal preference. You'll always have the same nuts up inside the box. They're not color coded. It's just whichever ones fit the wires correctly. But that's how you would do it, and connect it up to your light fixture itself, and that's it. All right. Main thing is just make sure it's not sticking out down the bottom here, and that's it. We're done. That's how it's gonna go. You'll make sure you reconnect your ground wire, of course, to the box. It's to the bracket up inside the box, and that's it. We're finished. All right. So that's it. How to join wires together. My next video is going to be how to wire a light switch or a light socket. So don't forget, come back and see the next video. All right? As always, thanks for watching. See you on the next one.